Evening everyone, welcome to today down our virtual pub. Hope you've got your beverages with you. First things first, let's have a little toast, shall we? There we go, I won't go too nuts because I still have other things to do today. Bit of product placement, obviously, you know me. So, for a little toast, toasty woasty, like I said, I'm not going too nuts. I think to all the NHS staff, yeah? I think, you know, having a clap and all that kind of stuff, well, it's all well and good, but let's do a cheers to the NHS. Ah. Beautiful stuff, that. Beautiful little tip, all this is. I do like that stuff. Product placement. Now, anyway, on with the usual. Oh, you know what? I'll have one of these today. Holston Pills. Now, you may be curious as to where part 2 has gone. Well, I recorded all of those parts, and there were 3 of them, on the Monday. By the time I'd edited them, got them ready and everything like that, and I was uploading them, certain things changed. You know, situations changed, so on and so forth, what was happening in society changed, yada yada yada. And so it kind of made everything else I'd chatted about redundant. And the other problem was, I was doing it wrong. I thought, when we do the Down the Pub series, which is this, our virtual pub, I thought what I should do is do the whole Big Dave, you know? You know the guy down the pub I always blame for people learning different wrong facts and things like that. Big Dave. I thought I'll do the Big Dave thing, and I've watched it back a couple of times. Obviously, it's redundant anyway, so I'm not going to make you sit through it. But I thought it doesn't really work because I didn't really qualify it. I didn't really say anything about it. I just started going, blah, 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 and I got a little bit vicious as well. And so I don't really want to put that out anyway. And fortunately, society changed in the meantime. So, there's that. But anyway, I thought what I'd do with this one, again, like I said, down the virtual pub. Cheers to everybody. Get the bar nuts out. Get the bar nuts out. God, I haven't had Holston Pills in ages, because every time I buy Holston Pills, right, Bert drinks them. She loves Holston Pills. I don't know why, she just does. It's like her thing. I've given her a Cobra at the moment. She doesn't know I've got these. Because Holston Pills are actually really, really good. I was going to use a pint glass, but I thought, who cares, you know? I might, depend on how long this lockdown stuff goes on for and how long society is all screwed up, and maybe it'll be semi back to normal by the end of April, maybe the other end of summer before we start seeing normality return. Who knows? But I might make this slightly more pubbified as time goes on. See if I can find some old brasses or something and bung them behind me. I've probably got some lying somewhere. But it's a bit cold and our boiler's gone wrong. So there's no heating in the house. The halogen heater don't work, as you saw in the previous upload. Yeah, it's all a bit cold at the moment, and we were on the phone, because obviously, to the... Right. We rent the place, it's not unknown, everybody is aware of this. It's not some secret. And we rent via an estate agent. Obviously, landlady owns it. It was her mum's house. Her mum died. She decided to rent it out, whatever. And we go via an estate agent. Well, obviously, during coronavirus and the lockdown and everything like that, the estate agent is kind of... I don't think it's closed because we got through to them. But they're not exactly running more than a skeleton staff, put it that way. And... And we got through to them, and they said, oh yeah, you're going to have to put you onto our rental people, yada yada yada, all this kind of stuff. And it turns out we got sent through to some poor person living in a completely different area to us, because our area code is 013 whatever, and the area code we got through to was 01279. So, you know, it's like, oh, they're in a different area. And so we're dealing with them, And we say, look, our boiler, because we're oil-fired central heating, if you're curious, and our oil furnace has packed up. Now, the tank's got half a tank in it. I usually like to fill up around the halfway mark. So I was planning on filling it up soon, but it's got half in there, and it's a 2,000 litre tank, so we've got enough. But the boiler itself is packed up. Now, it could be that the filter needs changing. Unfortunately, because I don't own this place, well, I don't know whether it's unfortunate, but because I don't own this place, I don't really want to start doing things that if I owned it, I would. I mean, changing a filter, whether it's an oil filter on a car, a fuel filter, or a tank filter, it's pretty much the same principle. Yeah? Unscrew, screw in, obviously shut any feed off to it first. Yeah, it's kind of the same principle. It's not difficult. But because this is a rental, I'm not going to do it. If it was mine, I'd have done it. But if I do it in a rental and it goes wrong, not that it will because it's changing a filter, but if it goes wrong or something fails, or I use a filter that falls apart, knackers the boy, everything like that, who's going to be held responsible? Yeah? And the person who owns this property isn't... They want a show home 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They don't seem to understand that, yes, it's your property, don't get me wrong, but it's somebody's home. And that's what bugs me. Because she came round, this was years ago. And this is brilliant. I've got many friends, but I've got a few friends who are in the building trade. And I could actually take a photo and put it in. I might actually go and take a photo of this because it just makes it easier. And you can see where, well, effectively lead is missing. All right, you can see where it's missing. There's no argument with it. There's a gap. It's bare brick wall. You can see. Okay? So it's obvious where the issue is. And we've got damp in the corner. And again, I've got a couple of friends in the building trade, and my dad was always a master DIY guy. Everything in my dad's house when I was growing up, he did. Because he was Royal Electrical Mechanical Engineers. He'd left, obviously, the army and gone engineer development in Dunton. Putting in new electric bits and bobs, doing some gas piping, child's play to him. Yes, everything was done by him, and I learned a huge amount as I was growing up. And I know, because my dad used to have an issue with damp, ironically, this is so funny, it wouldn't be the same corner of the house if you sat them next to each other, but where my dad used to put the TV, the damp was in the corner behind the TV. Where my TV is, the damp is in the corner behind the TV. You couldn't write this. You really couldn't. Anyway, I saw the damp, and we'd been here about a year, I suppose, and it'd been some nasty weather, and there's moss on the roof, and it falls into the gutter, and yada yada yada, whatever. And so I said, look, there's damp. It's coming in. I walked outside. It was bloody. When you see you've seen the photo now. It's bloody obvious. Right? You can see where it's coming from. Right? So the landlady came round, and she lives somewhere up north. And she came round with her then husband, who's a building professional, contractor. Now, I'll put in some other photos as well, I think, just so as you can see what I'm going on about. And brilliant. It's brilliant. He came round, and he waddled up, and he went, oh, the gutter's full again. Our roof is covered in moss. I can clean the gutter, one rainstorm, full again. Yeah? Whether you put in one of those gutter hedgehogs, which our roof comes down, and the gutter is, Well, it's like that at the start and like that at the end. It's really badly done. Now, I'm not going to be able to get photos of that. It's too much pain in the arse, but whatever. So bunging a gutter hedgehog in is not really going to do much. Because you can't get in. I tried. It just lifts. It basically lifts the tiles. And it's like, oh no, this is going to go wrong. So I never bothered. So I get up there, I bung a pressure washer in one end, hit it, blow everything out, and then clean it from the floor. It does the same job. Well, anyway, he's got up there. Oh, you haven't cleaned this out, and all this kind of stuff. And there was water pooling on the floor below the damp coals, right? You know, you got the dark bricks, and then you got that little kind of plasticky looking layer, and then you got the light house bricks, yeah? The damp coals, right? As far as I'm aware, that's what it is. So, there's water pooling down there. He has rightly pointed out that because I'm not cleaning the gutter, imagine if this was a 3-story house for a second, people, or a 2-story house, right? That's the problem. Not only that, but the wall is sucking the water up. Seriously. The wall is sucking the water up to come down. Completely ignoring what you have seen, the missing lead. Right? Now she came down with him and they had the whole blah, blah, blah. And I just stood there, I was like, oh, so these are the types of people we're renting from. Okay, fine. I'll shut up. It's her house. Sod it. And it was at that moment, and we've been here less than a year, okay? About a year, less than a year. I'm pretty sure it was in the first year. I mean, this is going back 8 years ago, so bear with me. But it was at that point I thought, right, everything goes through her. Okay, I'm not going to try. Everything goes through her from now on. Because they just such a massive had to go at me. But the thing is, she walked into the property. Obviously, when she got down, come in, hi, how are you getting on? We'll show you where the damp is, yada, yada, yada. And she walked in, and she was so put out that it didn't look exactly the same as when her mum owned it. It's unfurnished. We put all the furnishes in. She took it all. Yeah? And because it didn't look exactly the same as she remembered it, she was so put out. And if you're going to rent a house, you're renting somebody's home. Okay? If my driveway has weeds on it, before you have a go at me for having weeds on your driveway, and she has, by the way, have you got weeds on your driveway in the property that you own? Yes? Wind your neck in. Do you see what I'm getting at? And so I made a decision very early on that anything, no matter how simple it may be, you know, fine, it goes through the estate agent. Professional comes in, she can pay the call-out charge, she can pay the full wallop for the parts. I could nip down B&Q, do it myself. Yeah, I could go on Amazon or online, get the filter if it is the filter that's causing the issue. Get the filter, whip it off, change another one. I could make content about doing it. Really easy, right? Make content about doing it. Done. Now she can pay the call-out charge. God knows what that is, 60, 120 quid, depending on who she uses. And the full RRP for whatever filter the guy needs. I could have done it for free. I'd have done it for cost. You know? Couple of quid off Amazon, done. No. That's the problem. And it's like myself and Bert have been having a serious discussion recently. And I've never cared, so as you're aware, I've never really cared about a property I own. Okay? If it's a first property, it could be a flat, could be a 2 up, 2 down, mid terrace. I genuinely don't care right? As long as it's mine. Issue is because we've got cats, and because I like the country, yes, Bert really likes the country. Countryside, you know, right? We can't live in certain areas. Okay? Well, the cats could get squashed. Well, too residential. I don't want to live down a rat run. You know? Okay, fine, whatever. Two people in a relationship, both people make decisions. Okay, fine. Not a problem. But I've turned around and I've said, look, the end of this year, I can save some money. It's not going to be a lot. We're going to have to leave the area. Then we're going to have to significantly leave the area. Alright? But she's got most of her family in Stoke-on-Trent, or around that area. And most of my family are Barnsley, Sheffield, Wakefield, Huddersfield, Chesterfield, things like that. And as you know from 2016, my dad's planning on moving up there as well, so virtually all of my family are up there, right? And so I've been looking at Barnsley. Yeah? The end of this year, I can have enough to give us, well, given the price of some of the properties up there, I can have a 10% deposit by the end of this year, probably by the end of this coronavirus, the amount I'm earning at the moment, if it continues. And so we're looking at that. I've said, look, I've put my foot down. I've said, look, I'm 35, I'm 36 this year. Let's just go, okay? We qualify, people, so as you're aware, you qualify for a 30-year mortgage until you are 41. And then it's 25 and goes down like that. I'm 35, 36 this year. She's 33. Yes, I'm a cradle snatcher. I prefer to say 23, but you know. So let's just get anything. Literally, as long as it's not a flood area, as long as it's not one of those areas where crime is just everybody breaks into your house as soon as you leave style thing, you know, you're driving along and all the wheels come off your car, that kind of area. As long as it's not that, let's just go. Okay, let's just get it done and go from there. Because I've been wanting to do this for a long time. And I've accepted a lot of abuse online. Yeah? From people telling me what I should do. And it's like, I know. Yeah? It's just, I'm in a relationship. I'm trying to have everything move in a direction that doesn't put a huge... It's like I had a conversation with my dad, because we used to live with the in-laws. Well, I used to live with the in-laws. And I wanted to stay there until we had enough to buy a property. Obviously, that's what you do. No. And against my better judgment, we had stand-up arguments over this. I mean proper, you know, this is in your face, yeah, where's the baseball bat, you know? Lucille, thunk. Yeah. We had proper stand-up arguments over this. And as my dad pointed out, very correctly, he's like, well, at the end of the day, if you'd have carried on, you know, putting your foot down, you'd have ended the relationship. So you did the right thing in that respect. But now it's got to the point where I have no choice. I don't want to rent anymore. I never wanted to rent in the first place. You know, it's like I was an agricultural farm worker and you had a tied cottage back then. You know, so it's like as long as I had the job, I had a home, that kind of thing. It wasn't really rental in that respect. And I live with I did a property share with one of my friends, with Sean, for a while. And that was fun. That was a great laugh, that was. I mean, that was brilliant. We all look back on our youth and think how brilliant it was, don't we? I'm drinking slowly, I know, but I have other things to do today. Please understand, I'm not trying to get drunk, right? It's only just gone 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I've still got this to edit and put up. I've got a Wearing Bearings thing to edit with a Picasso and put that up. And that's going live on the 1st. And some other bits and bobs to do. So please forgive me for my slow drinking, okay? Calm down. Well, no, that was fun. I've got stories to tell, and whilst we're down the pub, I can tell these stories. I may even crack on for a while and make this into a two-part or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, we had a house share for a while, and then of course I was with my ex before Bert, and we lived with her parents, and she had a pretty good plan, you know. But then her parents, her dad had been quite successful with the company he owned. Her parents had separated, but he'd allowed his missus to keep the house where, you know, so the kids had a stable environment, and it was in Brentwood. And this was a 7-figure property. And we're going back over 10 years. We're going back 23. So yeah, we're going back over a decade. And this was a 7-figure property back then, right? And so we could stay there. You know, the bedroom was about the same size as this garage plus an ensuite. You know what I mean? So we could stay there happily. And that's what we were doing, but of course she decided that a 40-year-old member of Parliament was a better proposition than mine, and that was the end of that relationship. Then I moved, obviously did the flat share with Sean, did all of that, and met Bert. And the thing is, Bert's parents, not 1%. You know, not the top 5 or the top 1%. They're just, you know, average Joe, whatever. Yeah, they have a very nice home, but the room is very cramped. It's about, the room that we were living in for about a year was about, well, from the back wall to probably about the front of that box. And pretty much as wide. So it was a cramped living situation. So there's that. But at the same time, it was a case of, look, let's just do what we need to do and whatever. But we moved into rental, and I've never liked rental. When you're a student, you rent. When you're starting out on the career path and you don't have any deposit, you rent. I get that. After that, don't. Okay? If I can teach any young person watching me, don't. Alright? Just don't. Yeah? The rent on this place is £900 a month. Now, I had this valued last year when I went to the mortgage advisors. I had an independent, obviously somebody, not the estate agent we use. I had an independent came in, and they valued it. They were a bit emotional about valuing it because we don't own it, and we were honest with them. But they came round and they did a bit of suppose. And at the time, it was valued at 260 grand. And so we went down, and the estate agent we used, I forgot the name. I forgot the name. Or whatever. The estate agent we used, they had an in-house mortgage advice thing, but it was a separate company, if that makes sense. And they had their system and all this kind of stuff. And we went down there to find out what we could get. I had my paperwork, yada, yada, as you do. And he said, what are you looking for mortgage-wise? And I went, well, thinking about a deposit and things like that, around, say, 250 grand, and we'll go from there. Want to see where we stand. Now, I know people outside of the home counties and London are, 250 grand? Jesus Christ, you don't start with that. In my area, you do. All right? And, you know, about 200 grand's the cheapest one-bedroom flat you'll find in this area, trust me. And so we went down there and we found it, and he put it into his system. He entered in all our data, and there's loads of quotes coming up and all this kind of stuff, fixed for 2 years, 3 years, whatever. And I'm adamant. It's a fixed for, well, I want 5 years. Okay, even if it's a slightly higher percentage, I want 5 years because it's certain. And I don't want an interest only, I want a repayment. You know, I don't want some endowment or some, yeah, this will do X, Y, Z and all the, no, I just want a fixed repayment. I'm safe. I know where I stand. That's what I want. Okay? And he just typed it in. And he said, right, well, fixed £650 a month. Paid 900 quid in rent. Yeah? 650 quid a month, plus 2 life insurance policies and the council tax. And I'm only paying what I'm paying in rent. I got this. Right? You can't afford it. Pardon? You can't afford it. You won't get it. This is the reality of private rental. For anybody who doesn't know, for any of the young ones, okay? For anybody who was relatively lucky and moved out their parents into their first home, this is private rental, okay? 900 quid a month. I can't afford 650 quid mortgage. I'm paying somebody else's mortgage and then some for their profit. Right? But I can't afford my own one. Okay, fine, okay. What can we afford? Let's start going down the ladder. Now, please understand and put into context where I live. I'm very close to Stansted Airport, in the home counties, close to London, got Hertfordshire one side, I'm in Essex. This is an expensive area. Please put that in to your thinking. Right? Now, goes down, goes down, goes down, goes down, goes down. Now, please understand, at this point in time, during this epidemic and everything like that, I am bringing in £1,000 a week. Averagely, for the last however many years, over 800 quid a week as an average. And some weeks where I don't earn much, there's other weeks where I earn a lot, but as an average. Okay? Now, obviously, I pay myself slightly differently to PAYE, but, and this is something I'm going to get onto a bit later on, I make sure that whatever I take out of my business account does not have dividend or reinvestment or something like that. It has pay on it, so that my accountant is forced, paperwork, to put in a tax return that is realistic for my income. Okay? I always do that. I know a lot of people, oh, it's dividend this or it's that, or I'll pay my missus this and I'll do this. You know, and then, of course, during this coronavirus, a lot of self-employed people, a lot of drivers I work with are like, they're going to pay me 80%. They're going to, you know, pay me up to £2,500, but my tax return's only £9,000 a year. I can't live on that. I've never done that. So as you're aware, I've never done that. Anything on my bank statements that I take as my pay is pay referenced on the bank statement. The accountant's hands are tied. He thinks I'm nuts. But I don't want the knock on the door in X amount of years' time because I've been audited. Yeah? So I've handed in the paperwork, yeah. And they've gone down. You know, Bert's income, my income, down. Our borrowings, unfortunately, thanks to 2016, they are a bit higher than maybe they should be. They've gone down. Have a guess what I was allowed to borrow. Now, remember where I am, okay? Home counties, close to Stansted Airport, close to London. You know, it's more expensive here. Have a guess. Our combined income. Have a guess. £78,500 over 35 years. It worked out to about 220 quid, I think it was. £900 quid a month in rent, and according to the banks, I can only afford 220 quid a month. You know, I'm not Ken Dodd, I'm not robbing the tax man here. I'm paying way more than everybody else who's a limited company within agency. Everybody's like, yeah, well, if you're a limited company, you're robbing the tax man. Yeah. I'm a limited company because LTDs, when you join an agency, get paid more than PAYE. Yeah? If you are an LTD, the average agency will pay you at least £1 an hour more than if you are PAYE. That's why I'm an LTD. That's it. Yeah? Like I said, everything I take out has got pay next to it. It doesn't have dividend, it doesn't have reinvestment, it doesn't have all these other wonderful little odds and sods that you could put next to it so your accountant can, cook the books. It's got pay. He can't get round it. P-A-Y. Right? Yes, okay. I get to do all the claims that I'm allowed to do, so I get a little bit more. But then if you've got a P60 at the end of the year, you can claim for a lot of it. Some of it you can't, but most of it you can. There's not that much difference, really. Oh, and one other thing, if you're curious. It turns out that if you have credit and store card debt, that is not classed as that relevant when you go to get a mortgage. But if, like I was doing, you're getting things down, you're consolidating loan to bring your monthly outgoings down so it's easier to survive, that is marked against you. I have more leaving me going to the various credit cards I have than I have going to the loans, consolidation loans that I would need to cover my debt. So I have more money left over. But my loans, not my credit cards, and I've got more on my credit cards than on my loans count against me. My credit cards don't. If anybody can explain why that is, please, I'm all ears. The interest rate on a loan, 2, 3, 4%, maybe 6 or 7%, depending on how the loan person gets. The credit card, 20, 30, 40, 50%. Yeah? The credit card's going to go on and on and on and on. And they're going to ask for basic minimum payments, once your balance transfer thing ends. Right? So all of a sudden, your 50, 60 quid a month payment is 200 quid a month. Doesn't count against you. The loans, far cheaper, do. So it kind of stuck me. So I've basically said, look, what we're going to do, see how much we can get in as short a space of time as possible, and then just find somewhere that we qualify for mortgage for, wherever it is in this country, as long as it's close to somewhere that I can get work, Bert can get work, and we'll just go. Could be in the Highlands of Scotland for all I care. Because I'm just done with it now. I'm done with it. But it's the problem with private rental. It always has been. It's like, if you're a landlord or a landlady and you respect the fact that that property is somebody's home, and as long as they leave it in as tip-top condition as it can be left in when they move out, you're relatively lenient. Okay, fine, brilliant, well done. But you're in the minority. The majority, they'll let the garage go. They don't care about the garage. But everything else has to be show home. We've got cats. The cats throw up. Yeah? Furballs. Right? We had one person come round to do the inspection. And she put the camera. I watched her do it, right? She literally took a camera phone thingy, and there was a... If you've got cats, you understand a furball, kind of stain on the carpet, right? Yeah, right? That horrible sound that every cat owner knows is... Oh, Jesus Christ! Right? It's, it's not big. Yeah? 'Cause in the grand scheme of a carpet, it's not big and it's easy enough to clean. You just let it dry and whatever. And one thing that we do is every 2 years we get a professional carpet cleaning place in to do everything, and we pay for that. We get them in every 2 years. Okay, it's just something that we do, right? This woman, she comes round and she's literally, say this is the floor. I'm not kidding you here. Takes a photo. All of a sudden, that tiny little cat thing is about this size. Yeah? we have to have a second inspection 3 weeks later. Yeah? Because of the stains on the carpet. Yeah? So yeah, if it's a filter, she can pay the call-out charge, she can pay the recommended retail price for a filter. I ain't going to save her a penny. I'm sorry, but, you know, scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Treat me like that, you're on your own. But these are some of the realities. It's why I wanted to avoid doing private rental. But whatever. What do I know? I'm just a fat, hairy truck driver who takes a lot of abuse from people for being in private rental. You know, I'd rather be in private rental and have a happy, content relationship than own a one-bedroom flat on my own. You know? It's a trade-off. I'm okay with it. So is moving to Yorkshire or Cumbria or Scotland or even Wales. I've got nothing against Wales. Never really been there. Well, I've been over the bridge a couple of times, picking up from the industrial estate or when I did the Picasso thing. I've never been into Wales. I've got nothing against Wales. The valleys. The only thing I've got against Welsh people is you need to learn how to use vowels. Alright? That's it. I'm sorry, it's an old joke. I know, I shouldn't. But no, it's... that's a little bit of a gripe off my chest. We're down a pub. I'm, you know, holding court, putting her rights. I will do one at some point where I've got some time where I'm not doing anything. Obviously in lockdown, hopefully I'll achieve that. Where it will be a can you keep up with me? I think you guys will enjoy that one. And I'll get myself a nice new bottle of this and we'll see. And by the time I get out, I'll be so rat-assed I won't be editing for a couple of days. I'll put it that way. But that's if I can, if I've got some time off work, because I don't like doing any kind of drinking before I go, you know, before I start a shift. Because this is my first day off. If you're curious, before anybody has a go at me, who are you drinking alcohol? You're a driver. This is my first day off, alright? Not the day before I go back. Calm down. When you see this, it'll be uploaded, so you'll see it tomorrow. That's the day before I go back. Or it might, if I can't upload for whatever reason, because I've seen a few YouTubers saying that it's cutting out, they can't upload. Probably because every YouTuber, every person who does YouTube is on lockdown all over the globe, and everyone's trying to upload, so it's probably knackering YouTube servers at the moment. There's way more volume, so I don't know. You might see this the day I go back to work. I really don't know, but whatever. We'll go from there. But yeah, I had some fun. Let's talk about truck driving. I'm running a temperature. I've obviously got coronavirus. I want to talk about truck driving.